You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here's your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Good morning. I am Glenn the Geek from Ocala, Florida.
And I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma. You're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, July 3rd, episode 3467. Happy 3rd, almost 4th of July, everybody.
Hello, Horse World. It's Wednesday, the day you start daydreaming of a weekend with your horses. We'll help you get there with more silly horse talk on Horses in the Morning.
That's right. We do have some silly horse talk planned for you today. We're going to have a representative from Equistaff joining us and giving you some tips on how to get a job in the horse world. I noticed that that some auditors have been posting, I want to work in the horse world. Well, we're going to try and help you with that today. And then we're going to be talking about the horses from the inside out in our health segment. You'll find out a little bit more about that coming up. Do you have any weird news?
Yeah. I've been editing. So I said on Monday that I didn't have any, and all of them stepped up. And then I was like, okay, there's 100. Okay, well, got to go through those. So it's great. Thank you, everybody. Good.
Hey, Ford has issued a recall. I know you Ford lovers out there. If you have a 2014 Ford model F-150, there's a recall that affects about 500,000 trucks. Now, let me tell you what the problem is. It's an important problem. There's a problem with a sensor that could cause the transmission to suddenly shift into first gear at any rate of speed.
Oh my God! Imagine hauling horses.
Drop that transmission right out the bottom. I like this article. It says a sudden downshift is never good, but at higher speeds, it could lead to loss of control. Yeah, when you're going at 70 miles an hour into first gear, that's probably pretty bad. That's not good.
No.
Now, I like this too. The owner notification will begin July 1st, so all of you that haven't probably been getting notified. The software update will be available in the third quarter of 2024.
Just sit tight, everybody.
So everybody now that gets those warnings is going to be driving for the next 4 months scared to death.
Hold your breath.
Now, Ford says there's a warning light on the dash might illuminate before downshift occurs. Like 2 seconds before?
Like today or like a minute ago. So recalls are crazy. So I just got a notification that the air fryer that I bought from Amazon like 4 years ago, just so you know, we're recalling all those because potentially could just burst into flames.
Oh, that's good.
Like, what? Yeah, it's just a problem with it like igniting. Okay, cool. Thanks for that.
Throw that sucker away. I wonder how many houses got burned down before they finally put out the recall notice.
Oh my God. It's like, Chad, let's keep it unplugged.
Yeah, don't use it. These poor Ford people, what are they going to do though?
Oh, you just don't drive. You just get a horse.
Anyway, good luck, Ford people. Happy birthday. We have one auditor birthday today, Amanda Coro. Happy birthday to you. Also, we have a brand new auditor, Julia Haggerty. And we welcome you. If you're not a member of the Facebook group yet, just search for HRN Auditors and you can join up over there.
Well, it's going to be vague to some, but I just wanted to give my daily Whinnie to Mary Westman, and she listens to the show, and she has been helping me out of a pickle. And I just want to thank you, Mary Westman. Woo woo. Hey, now when we do weird news and we do really bad ads, I want to make something clear because I've been getting a lot of messages. On Sundays, we put up a post to do the equestrian first world problems, and that's just auditors that submit that. But those of you who've been emailing me, I know I'm not an auditor, but here's a weird news story. You do not have to be an auditor to submit weird news or really bad ads or any of that stuff. And if you have a first world problem, just email it to me if it's awesome. But don't feel like you can't participate just because you're not an auditor. And that just begs the question, why aren't you an auditor? You're listening. Do it. Come on. Be a part of the family.
Hey, you remember a couple months ago, some horses got loose in London from the household cavalry and ran around town. And I guess a couple of them were hurt. I guess they're okay, but
terrible. There was a gray horse like running down the road covered in blood. Yeah, they're in rehab right now and they're doing really well.
Well, there were 3 new ones yesterday. But
what?
Yeah, there were 3 others that got loose yesterday. But I love how the British write things. So I want to read this to you because I just love how this is written. The Ministry of Defense confirmed that 3 horses from the Household Cavalry Mounted Regiment became loose from their riders.
Sure.
On the morning of Monday, July 1st, after the lead animal, ironically, which was being led rather than ridden, got spooked by a bus during a routine exercise. This led to 2 riders being unseated from their horses, who also got loose. 6 horses and 5 soldiers were conducting the exercise at the time, became loose from their riders. I've never heard it put that way.
I'm going to use that. So, Glenn, I'm really sore because I came loose from my horse.
Just cracked me up. But yeah, so they got dumped, and they did catch the horses rather quickly, and this time nobody was injured, and everybody's okay. Apparently riders are okay as well.
The Queen would never approve this. What is happening? Her Majesty would be horrified and would send all these guys back to basics.
So I wonder how they get that gig.
I don't know, but it sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Does it sound cool? I don't know. I don't know if it sounds cool or not, but I mean, you're part of the household cavalry and you get to ride horses around London. So that sounds pretty cool.
We did an interview with somebody that I have to look that up. We did an interview with somebody who was in the cavalry because I remember him talking about how it's so easy to get girls. That's what he was talking about. He said they would come up. You know the guards that stand, in front of Buckingham Palace on their horses and just stand perfectly still and watch things?
Yeah.
The girls would come up and slip their phone numbers in his boot.
Ooh, that's hot.
I got to find that. We need to replay that interview. I got to find that one. Hey, tomorrow's the 4th. You know what that means.
Fireworks.
Yeah, ours have started. I don't know about you, but...
yeah, ours started Saturday.
Yeah, every night now it seems. The 4th is going to be amazing. Actually, Deanne over at Horse Nation wrote an article on 10 safety tips. I think some of these are too late now. But there were a couple of them. One, beware of the events around you. Yeah, the events around us is there's fireworks everywhere. I think that's pretty much universal now. She says put your horses inside. Does this go back to the old, do you put them in or leave them out?
No, that's tornadoes and that's weather. I think that if they're out and they hear the fireworks, they go and run. And when they start running blind, they're going to get hurt. So, I mean, I train all my horses for fireworks. And if you recall, what I do is at feeding time, I blow up a balloon and pop it. And then, okay, they freak out. Oh, my God. And then I start over and I blow up a balloon and then I pop it. And eventually, while they're eating, they're like, oh, nothing happened. And so that eventually leads to where you can blow up balloons and pop them and it doesn't matter. So fireworks don't bother them. That being said, I still bring all my horses.
Yeah, you're too late for that training right now.
Yeah, you're too late. Like, it's here. But yeah, I definitely suggest bringing them in, putting some music on. Yeah, I don't know what his tips were, but I bring
music
them all
on
in.
was one of them. Yep.
Yeah.
Which music? We need something loud enough to. Classical's not going to do it. You probably need something loud enough to cover the fireworks.
Actually, I don't have like music piped into my barn, but what I do is I bring them all in and I flip everybody's fan on and I have an above fan as well. And with all of those fans, it really helps dampen the noise.
Yeah, it would, I guess. Yeah. And obviously one of the other ones she says is make sure they have plenty of hay. And if you can slip in some Scooter would rather have just lots of alfalfa and promises to be good. Slip in some of the good stuff. She talks about making sure you have your horses ID'd, and have the chip and all that stuff. Check on your horses. Well, I think that, that comes back to the conversation about late night checks and who does and who doesn't. I think we determined it was about half the people don't and half do. That was about 50-50 also.
Yeah.
But that night you probably would, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this is a different kind of night. So everybody just be careful. Take care of your ponies. It's just one of those things. We have it here a few times a year, Glenn. We have fireworks on New Year's.
Yep.
Extremely. But I keep hearing all the fireworks and I'm like, ooh, keep doing it. Maybe you'll run out by the 4th. And no.
And then those little tents could pop up.
There's pop up everywhere. It's like spirit Halloween stores.
What do those people do for a living the rest of the year? The firework tent people.
I have no idea. They must have fruit stands and little peanut stands.
One of the biggest problems too is, fortunately, most of the part of the country has had a lot of rain, so maybe we won't see so many brush fires because of it. But I know Texas right now too. This storm might be heading toward Texas, so who knows? Who knows? Get ready for that anyway.
Yeah, obviously.
Make your fire plans. We are going to do, in 2 weeks, we're going to replay the fire special that we did after the barn fires have happened recently. We had put a special together, a bunch of interviews about how to fireproof your barn. So we're going to replay that one in a couple of weeks.
Man, I've got one of those prepared hero blankets for my kitchen. Have you seen those?
Yes, I see the commercial on. It comes on Facebook.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a Facebook ad.
With the kids. Yes.
Yeah. So it's just like a little bag. And apparently you pull this sheet out of the bag. Like say there's a fire, you pull the sheet out and you put it on top of the fire and it's out. It was developed by a bunch of firefighters. And so that's what everybody got for Christmas this year.
Did you try it? Does it work? Did you experiment with it?
I haven't had to use it yet. Thank God.
Well, it's good you have it with that fryer.
I know, right? What do you think I got it for? I was like, yeah, just in case something on my kitchen counter spontaneously explodes.
Jennifer's family, both mom and dad, and stepmom and stepdad, both have burned their kitchens down, both from grease fires.
I cook every night. But I'm not fantastic, about safety. And, I have one of those gas stoves. And that's what scares me the most is you have a gas stove and I have long hair. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to die. So I'm just, always a little nervous.
You're and Jennifer both. I love gas stoves because I grew up with that. And I do think you control the heat better and stuff. But she does not like gas anything in the house.
I don't either, but nervous. I lost that bet in the home design. So...
All right, let's go to our first guest. We're going to talk to Croix Darwin. She's the recruiting and sales coordinator at Equistaff Incorporated, which I think is located here in Ocala.
We're going to teach you guys how to get a job in the horse world.
Well, Croix, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Okay, before we get into the company, I got to ask you about your first name. We were talking about it. We know LaCroix, which is the only time I've ever seen Croix, and it's spelled the same, isn't it?
It is spelled the same as the drink. Actually, my parents were married on the island of St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay.
And there is also a river Croix in Michigan. So Croix is actually rather prevalent in a lot of different places. It's very prevalent in Louisiana, too. And it's actually a French word that means cross.
So are there lots of Croix first name Croix in Louisiana?
Not that I have found. I have found 2 other people named Croix. One I went to college with, and then the other one is currently an insurance. Yeah, one is an insurance salesman out of Louisiana, and those are the only ones I've ever met.
Well, that's cool. I love it. All right, let's talk about Equistaff, which I believe is located right near me here in Ocala.
Yes, we are right in Ocala. We are right down 40, actually across from the Millennium Bank near downtown. We have been around since 1982. We were started by Mary Thomas, who is a horse girl herself. She is into racing thoroughbreds. And she started because she found the need for, the boots on the ground, hands-on horse employees in the racing industry. And in 1982, she started with a little bit of temp staffing. And then in 2000, she created a job board that's at equistaff.com. And that website is actually currently under software development, but it is getting renovated into the 21st century. And it is a self-service job board where employers and job seekers can connect, communicate, post jobs, fill jobs, all the things. It's really a cool opportunity. It also has a huge advertiser segment. And we will be launching probably here in the next 30 days or so. And we're actually doing a $1 first month subscription for employers and advertisers. So that's a really cool asset to the business. And then the other side of us, which is Katie Snyder and myself, Croix Darwin, are the full-time recruiters for the actual headhunting and recruiting service. So we work with clients across the United States, everything from hands-on grooming, stall cleaning, all those types of positions, all the way up to C-suite positions.
And then you help get them filled? You're kind of like an employment recruiter would be in any other field.
Yes, we're very much like a standard recruiter. We work with both candidates and employers. So we are able to help the candidates find an opportunity that really fits them and fits their personality and their goals and their needs. And then we also help the employers find their ideal candidate all the way down to personality fit, lifestyle fit. Like, we do it all because both Katie and I have horse backgrounds ourselves. I'm from the hunter jumper industry and she's from the eventing industry. And we have a very hands-on feel for the industry, and it gives us that kind of niche touch to be able to help these people find their opportunities.
And so in our case, our listeners are, several of them have posted recently about wanting to get out of their run-of-the-mill job and into the horse world. But doesn't every horse girl, though, when you think about it, right?
Yes.
And grass is always greener too. I mean, we have to bring that up. But look at Jamie and I. We work in the horse world in a completely different way. We're not in the barn.
Right.
We've been doing this for 14 years. So, and I would like to say it pays as well as everything else in the horse world. Not the best. So, what tips?
It's so unique because there is a whole corporate entity to the equestrian market. And me, as the little horse girl that I once was, thought that when you get a job in the horse industry, you become a groom, a trainer, a farrier, or a vet. I thought that those were my options.
Right.
And since I've started with Equistaff, I have found all kinds of opportunities. There is a huge mecca for equine marketing and equine sales, the feed sales, the medical sales, retail sales. We're currently working with a client out of California who is looking for a candidate who can sell retail products to tack stores. There's tack store opportunities. You couldn't imagine the amount of opportunity. And, with the position does come an incredible salary. I mean, we're placing candidates well into the six figures a couple times a year for some of our more upscale positions. And it really just depends. We really encourage candidates to kind of feel out what they're strong in and really stick to those skills and stick to those strengths and really work that market. And there's everything that is in the corporate world, you can find it in horses.
So would you have some tips for people who are just maybe they're an accountant in the other world or, whatever, in the muggle world, and now they want to go to work in the horse world? What tips would you have for them? Obviously, go to Equistaff.
Right. Well, my first major tip is reach out to Katie and I. We can take a peek at your resume. We can talk to you, give you advice, kind of talk about those dreams. Recruiters in all industries are not your enemy. They are your friend. They are your advocate. So reach out to us, have those comfortable conversations, those friendly chats, and let us help you figure out those next steps. Because sometimes in the horse industry...
Before you go on, though, when I was headhunted in the old days, when I was in investments and stuff, the recruiters were actually paid by the companies that are looking for the employees. Is that still true?
It kind of depends on the actual industry. For us, we are actually not paid until our client fills their rec.
Okay.
So we are working with candidates, and we also get like a standard life living salary. So we're working with candidates to make sure that we're actually making those matches, because if the match is not long-term, it doesn't benefit us either. So our goal is really to make long-term matches. And because we offer all of our clients a guarantee period. And with that, we know that we can find candidates that truly match the niche opportunity that we're trying to fill.
But it's the employer that pays you as opposed to the employee. That's what I was getting.
Correct. Okay. Job seekers are always free all the time.
Okay. So that's a great idea. I mean, if they can get help from somebody like you who knows what's out there, it's going to save them a ton of time.
Right. It saves them a ton of time. We can help you review resumes, offer tips. We don't do anything formal in the resume building industry, but we absolutely can offer tips, things that we notice, all that kind of stuff. My biggest tip outside of like maybe coming to me and asking for my help is to, when you're looking at job descriptions, make sure you're reading the job descriptions for the specifics. Read the whole thing all the way through and find what makes that job description different than the next one, and tailor your resume to work with it. Like all of us horse girls, we have, a horse side to us, and then we have a corporate side to us. But if you think about your accounting candidate, for instance, they might have excellent financial and budgeting, but if you just spit your generic accounting resume at a horse person, they're probably going to be like, why can this help me? Can they clean a stall? So make a resume that really tailors to those jobs and says, look, I have an excellent ability to help you with your budgeting, but I'm also not afraid to get in and clean a stall, because no horse person can be afraid to clean a stall.
Is it? I mean, resumes have changed so much since I actually needed one. And one of the problems I had when we were hiring is the resumes were always so damn long. I want one page. Mm-hmm. I don't need to know what you were doing in high school. Unless they're 20 years old. If you're 40.
What if I peaked in high school, and that's what I really want to focus on?
I think it depends too. Like I see resumes all the time where we have one equine and one professional resume. I personally am a one-page resume person, but I see plenty of resumes that are multiple pages long, but they start it with what highlights them. So in that objective section, in the first summary paragraph, they're hitting all of those peaks in high school up in that paragraph where you can really see those skills shine, so that you don't have to read back 40 years to be able to find the good stuff.
That's a good point, because I didn't. And, it used to be the cover letter was the most important thing, but are cover letters even still used?
I ask for cover letters. I love cover letters. I am very big on personality, and I think personality shows through when you write yourself a cover letter. But there's definitely plenty of employers that just look for resumes. What we do for our candidates is we write a bio about them, and we actually check references on all of our candidates as well. And we write up a full submittal on them. So we're actually kind of covering the cover letter part of it when we submit you to our clients. So it kind of depends on what you see there. I think cover letters are great because I think it shows personality.
That was always the hardest thing, too, about a resume. I could do my resume easy. The cover letter always sucked. It was like, I just don't know what to say in the cover letter.
Sarcasm and jokes don't really make it through on paper, and that's typically what you would have done.
Unfortunate. I am such a person that wants to write down the joke, and then I'm like, no one will get this. It's just a me thing.
We say it out loud, and nobody gets it. I mean, I love this. I love that there's something out there specifically for the horse world. And, I know that a lot of people probably don't know you're out there. And you do all the states all around the country?
Yep. We are nationwide, and then our job board is actually international. It is worldwide.
Great. And you can find it at equistaff.com?
Equistaff.com, and then our recruiting services are equistaffpro.com.
All right. Everybody, contact Croix, the girl with the unique name. You won't forget it, and then she'll help you out. I love this. Well, Croix, thanks for filling us in and letting us know what you guys do over there across town.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you guys' time, and I look forward to hearing from all of your listeners.
Well, StatelineTack.com, as expected, has a 4th of July sale going on right now. I think it's through Friday, so you're going to want to head over to StatelineTack.com. We actually need a new microwave for the new house, and we were shopping for that because all the sales are going on everywhere now for July 4th. And they have a bunch of things going on at StatelineTack.com. They have a buy one, get one free section right now with halters and all kinds of different stuff, 25% off Shires, 20% off Tipperary. The list goes on and on and on. There's a bunch of sections to this. And 20% off Stetson. I can get a new cowboy hat. 20% off IRH. That's the helmet company as well. And then everything's on sale from Carrots. And it just keeps going and going. So head on over right now to StatelineTack.com for the big July 4th sale. And you're going to buy it anyway. You might as well get it at a discount at StatelineTack.com.
This Horse Health Report is brought to you by Daily Dose Equine, non-GMO core nutrition for horses and ponies of all ages. And we're going to talk about something we've actually never talked about here on Horses in the Morning, Pilates and horses. So we're going to welcome Gillian Higgins to the show. She's the founder of Horses Inside Out. You guys have all seen these cool videos of the horses with the skeletons painted on the outside. And absolutely incredible website, horsesinsideout.com. You can check it all out. But I've got to give you her title, Gillian Higgins, Glenn wanted me to tell you this whole thing. BSc, first class honors degree, BHS, senior coach, DIP, RM, MSM, ITEC, equine, MCAM, MIAS, MRAMP. I don't know what I'm saying.
That's a lot of titles. It's a lot of titles.
Basically, that means that I'm a specialist in anatomy and biomechanics. I'm a therapist and a coach, so quite a few different qualifications there. But first of all, I'd like to say a huge thank you for inviting me onto your show today. It's great to be here.
You could have just said that I'm a coach and an anatomy guy. Like all these letters. I know stuff. That's what like Gillian Higgins. I know stuff. Well, thanks. Tell everybody what Horses Inside Out is before we get into Pilates.
Well, I realised on my travels working as a coach and a therapist that many people could benefit from a better understanding of how horses work. And you say the term anatomy or biomechanics, and it can be seen as a bit of a difficult or a dry subject. But it really isn't. And I wanted to inspire people to want to learn more in an easy to understand, fun and applicable way. So I actually paint the skeleton, muscles and other anatomical systems onto the side of real live horses for the point of education, really. And I think when you see a horse moving with a skeleton painted on the side, it really brings the subject to life. And you can imagine the bones moving underneath the skin. You can imagine how a change in posture or a change in way of going can really affect the horses, yes, biomechanics, how they work, but more than that, it can help us to appreciate how what we do with horses, from the way we ride, our training and our management, how that can impact their health, their performance, ultimately their longevity. Hopefully it can help us to reduce the risk of injury and so much that's important for our horses. And I think that these days especially we need to consider that as soon as we sit on our horses, as soon as we start riding them, we're asking them to carry our weight. It's going to compromise their posture. So I think as horse owners, riders, trainers, it really is up to us to do as much as we possibly can to help keep their bodies and their musculoskeletal system healthy. So, of course, an understanding of the anatomy and the biomechanics is important. But then on top of that, we want to know techniques, tips, exercises, both ridden and in hand, that we can do with our horses to keep them healthy, to help maintain their anatomy to the best possible level that we can. So that's really what it's all about.
Well, it's awesome, because one of the things that you do talk about, I keep my horses fit, like my horses get fit. I don't do that for me. So one of the things that you guys have, and I think it's so important, but one of the things that y'all talk about is Pilates for horses, or Pilates for horses and people too. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, okay. So like you say, fitness is a really, really important part of keeping the musculoskeletal system healthy. We're not talking just about cardiovascular fitness, though, but also the muscles that are involved in supporting the body and supporting good posture. And posture, as I'm sure you know for your own body, a good posture helps to reduce the risk of injury. If you sit in a poor posture or move around in a poor posture yourself, it can increase the risk of aches and pains in certain areas. If you sit hunched over a desk all day, it's highly likely that you'll get tension across the back of your shoulders. Well, we see a similar thing with horses. If they are always worked in a poor posture or stand around in a poor posture, again, this can lead to an increased risk of injury. So just like Pilates is like a core strengthening exercise system that is aiming to increase the core strength, but also affect our balance, affect our posture, our body awareness. The idea of these exercises is to do exactly the same thing as what we say with Pilates for humans. So I've written a book called Pilates for Horses. I've got a few different webinars and lecture demonstrations called Pilates for Horses, and these are all available on the Horses Inside Out website. And although we say Pilates, it's not that they are exactly the same as the human exercises. It's the point is that the principles of the exercises, that this idea of improving health through an exercise system is the same. So when we say Pilates for horses, we're really referring to exercises that you can do in the stable, in hand, in an arena, that are going to help to stimulate the core muscles, improve your horse's balance, improve suppleness, improve the posture.
So I've got my horse. I want to get started in Pilates. What is an exercise example that I can do?
You know, there's so many, but one of my favorites is called what I call the Wither Rock exercise. And this exercise is brilliant for so many horses, whether we're talking about young horses, preparing them for future ridden work, whether we're talking about older horses, veterans, that we're looking to maintain comfort and mobility, whether we're talking about horses in the prime of their lives, maybe have got some suppleness issues or some back issues, or just a horse that's working really well, but you want to give something back, something really nice that just helps keep them comfortable. And a little bit like you, if you've got a backache and you're standing for a long period of time, have you noticed how you'll often start swaying from one leg to the other, and this sort of gentle rocking causes a wave of movement that goes all the way up through your back? Well, it's a similar concept with this Wither Rock exercise. And how I suggest you do this: first of all, make sure your horse is standing square in a relaxed environment. You yourself need to be relaxed. This is important for a lot of, well, not just Pilates exercises, but for a lot of what we do with horses. We want to make sure that our energy is nice and low and calm, and we're nicely grounded. So take a couple of deep breaths, think about your own posture, and then stand next to your horse's shoulder facing the withers. So your shoulders are parallel to his spine. Then place both hands on his withers. Take a moment just to take a couple of deep breaths. Allow your horse to get used to your touch and your energy. And to start with, don't actually do anything, but just imagine swaying the horse from side to side by pushing and pulling the withers. Just imagine the movement first and get that sort of rhythm in your mind, because the rhythm for this movement is really important. Imagine rocking the horse from the left to the right, from the left to the right. So, and then start doing it just a tiny bit to start with. If you start imagining, then you do it a little bit, just like a millimeter one way and then the other. Then build up to a centimeter one way and the other. And gradually build up and go with the amount of movement that you feel that your horse is happy to give. By doing this very gradual increase in the amplitude of movement, the horse will really relax into it. You'll notice that the sway movement almost oscillates up the neck, and you'll see the head going side to side. If you look back down the back, you'll also see this lateral flexion movement being transferred through the horse's back, through the spine, right into the tail. And if you glance down at the legs while you're doing this, you'll see that the fetlocks should extend a little bit more on the left and then on the right as you rock from side to side. So actually, for horses that had tendon injuries, it's also a really good exercise that you can do fairly early on in the rehab program for that. So it's one of my favorite exercises, and the horses absolutely love it. And actually, we have the Horses Inside Out Academy, which is free to join. And once you're a member, you can access a whole load of different free tutorial videos. And one of them is all about the Wither Rock exercise. So if you want to see a demonstration and an explanation of how to do this with a couple of different horses, just head over to the Horses Inside Out website, click on Academy, scroll to the bottom to the free tutorial channel, and you'll be able to see that exercise as well as a whole load of other videos in there. So that would be definitely my top tip for the first exercise. As I say, there's loads of different ones, but the Wither Rock's definitely one of my favorites.
Well, wonderful. This is awesome. I could talk to you forever and just listen to you lecture. But I guess we can all just go to horsesinsideout.com to see that. Gillian, we're running out of time, but I do appreciate you coming on. I'm like envisioning Wither rocking my horses right now, and it seems so soothing and such a lovely way to kind of connect with your horse. So I will definitely
the bonding side. Yeah, the bonding side is wonderful, as well as the physical benefits too. So that's really good.
Absolutely. Gillian Higgins, founder of Horses Inside Out, horsesinsideout.com. Y'all can go find all of her books and the videos, and just it's like a whole community on that website. So thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to having you on again.
Oh, I would love to come back. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thanks, Gillian. I want you to try that on your new little pony and see how that goes.
Well, you know what? I already do like a variety of exercises that the osteopath told me, which is like the belly lift. You scratch under the belly and get them to lift their back. And then there's like a little place I press on the pelvis area to like activate the top muscles on the back. And then there's what I call the butt push, which is I put my hand under the tail and you push the opposite side of their hip and they lean into you. So this is just one more awesome activity. And it really does, all of these things create a pretty good connection, just bonding. Like when you're getting your horse tacked up and ready, you just do these I just go through them all now. I mean, teach an old dog new tricks. I learned this at 46 years old, and now it's part of my whole routine. So along with, the most important thing, which is to right before you start grooming your horse, put on some chapstick. So I do all of these things.
That has taken you 46 years to learn.
I can't even unlearn it, Glenn, for God's sake.
That is a conversation we've had over and over the last 15 years.
All of these things that I do are a routine. It's just like, it's all part of my muscle memory now.
That's funny. All right, let's get to some weird news right after these messages.
I'm here with the mad scientist who developed Daily Dose equine horse feeds, Janet Geyer, and I wanted to have a quick chat with you because Daily Dose equine horse feed are non-GMO whole food nutrition based. And a lot of people go, oh, that comes from a small dedicated feed mill. I won't be able to get that when I travel. They're wrong, aren't they?
They are. You can get it through Chewy anywhere in the United States. Or if you live locally in Maryland and Northern Virginia, you can get it delivered.
There you go. Chewy.com. It will deliver it anywhere you want. You can also schedule delivery in advance so you can have it delivered every X number of days. And you can go in there to your account and change it every time you move horse show venues. So check it out today, dailydoseequine.com online or chewy.com.
For first-time horse owners and new riders, finding the information and support you need can be challenging. That's why Equine Network has partnered with Sentinel and Absorbine to bring you My New Horse. From important horsekeeping information and how-to videos to social media communities, exclusive experiences, and more, My New Horse is your one-stop shop for riders of all levels and disciplines looking for easy-to-understand horse care information and guidance. Start your horse ownership journey today. Visit mynewhorse.com.
Time to learn why some days you're embarrassed to be part of the human race. In Jamie's Weird News.
Yes, weird news never stops, thank God. So I would like to thank all of these people for submitting stories. Michelle, Julie, Carrie, Jade, Aaron, Laureen, Jillian, Kaylin, and Debbie all sent me weird news to use on the show this week. Many of them sent multiples. I love all of them, and thank you very much. If you see a news story and you're like, oh, that is super weird, email it to me, jamie@horseradionetwork.com with weird news in the subject line. Thank you very much. Now we're going to head to, we don't go to Canada very much, Glenn. We don't, because they're so normal and nice.
It's like the opposite end of Florida.
It's the polar opposite of Florida. So we're going to kind of go to Quebec. Well, we're going to go to a lake that's bordering Quebec because a woman, now it's not a Canadian, and the weird news story is just Canada. But a woman from China named Wan Yi Ng, I don't know how to say Ng in Chinese, but was arrested was arrested the morning
Send your hate
of
mail to
June.
Jennifer at Horse.
Exactly. I don't care. You stay. If you know how to say that, great. Send me an email. She was arrested the morning of June 28th at an Airbnb. She was in this town called Canaan, and she was inflating her kayak, and she was outside. And I guess her boyfriend and husband or brother had already started paddling across the lake. Okay. Now, what's on the other side of the lake? The Canadian border. So she is inflating her kayak. And, she was in Canada and she's trying to get across the lake to the U.S. And all of a sudden, while she's inflating the kayak, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police come on up. And they have with them a man who was her husband. They snagged him and another guy who was with him. And they're like, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing, eh? Canadian sucked. Oh my gosh, eh? What's in your bag? And so they see her duffel bag that she's trying to load into her kayak that she's inflating. And they're like, well, this is really heavy. And so they open up the duffel bag. What do you think was inside the duffel bag, Glenn?
Drugs?
You would think.
Yeah, that would
but
be like
no.
the first guess. No?
Eastern box turtles. 29 live Eastern box turtles individually wrapped in socks, according to the affidavit.
This is how we get all the weird animals in Florida. It's people like them.
I know. We're going to hit that later on in this section here, Glenn. But the Eastern box turtles, like just a box turtle, just those regular like little things with the yellow.
The ones they sell in the
brown
stores
shells.
for the kids to buy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently, the Chinese black market, they bring $1,000 each.
What?
The Chinese.
So was she smuggling them in or out of the United States?
She was taking him from Canada to the U.S., where then she was going to board a plane and fly them back to China. Yeah.
Wow, they must make a lot of money on those for all that to be worth it.
I know, right? That's really stupid. She was she was arrested.
I bet.
They
were all
got
stuffed in socks?
They were each one of them was stuffed in socks. Imagine having a duffel bag full of 29 turtles wrapped in socks.
How do they live and eat and breathe? Does turtles breathe? Turtles must breathe.
I mean, do turtles breathe? What is wrong with you? Okay, next story.
Not well if they're in a sock.
Do turtles breathe? All right, this time we're gonna stick up in the Northeast. We're gonna go to Connecticut, Ledyard, Connecticut, and it's. I mean, once I saw the mugshot, I just knew I had to do the story. So the Ledyard, Connecticut police were being really sweet. So they found a man named Robert Fable, 49, sitting in his vehicle at Erickson Park around 1:00 in the morning. And this was on Monday. And they found him in the car. And they're like, excuse me, sir, can we talk with you? And he rolls down his window and he's like, hey, guys, what's going on? Everything should be fine. And as they spoke with him, they realized he's highly intoxicated. So he wasn't driving. But he was sitting in his car. So they were like, you know what? Let's cut this guy some slack. So they called an Uber for him. His car sat there. They called an Uber and they're like, hey, buddy, life's tough. Come get your car tomorrow. We're going to help you get home. So he gets in the Uber and he leaves. And then a short time later, the same officer is driving around on Route 12. And they're like, hey, not that guy in that car. So they pull him over. And this time they arrested him for driving under the influence. What an idiot. He gets a free pass from the police. They put him in an Uber and they're like, buddy, have a good night. See you later. And then he goes back, Ubers back to his car, gets in and doesn't even drive home. He was on the freeway. Where was he going? I don't know. But he was arrested and will be arraigned on July 18th.
Okay,
What a moron.
he deserves this one. He deserves that.
Man,
You are one pathetic loser.
Maybe consider AA at this point, I think.
I mean, we need to make some life decisions, some changes. All right. Next, you want me to go to California or Florida? We're going to do both. But
let's do Florida so we end with California. Make me not feel so depressed.
We always end in Florida, though.
Let's switch it up today.
Let's switch it up. Do you know where Collier County, Florida is?
No, I'll look that up.
Well, I think it's near. It's near the Big Cypress National Preserve. And remember, we had talked about random animals getting put in random places because people make bad decisions. Well, there's a problem. We've talked.
That's down in the Everglades. That's Everglades.
About all of the pythons that are in the Everglades, and don't they have some sort of they pay you for every python you kill?
They'll pay $1,000 each. Yep.
$1,000 each. Really?
They want them to go on.
Well, do you get bonus money for really big ones?
Apparently not, but there have been some that have been 16 feet long.
So this guy named Mike Alfenbean said he was on his way to dinner with his son when the two guys were just stumbled upon a group of guys trying to wrangle a python. Okay. He said they had one guy pulling on the snake and two guys just standing there watching, and it didn't work out so good. So he and his son stepped in to help, not realizing the python would put up such a fight. He said the five of us on top of this thing, and it literally lifted us off. Here's this quote. It literally lifted us off the ground, off the ground. So how big did you say they get?
I know there's been some 15, 16 feet.
Yeah, this one was 17.
That is one big snake.
198 pounds.
Oh, my God.
A 200-pound python. And when they cut it open, they found an entire deer inside it.
Oh,
a deer.
God.
It is. I have these pictures of these five men standing with probably a foot between them each, and they're all holding a piece of the snake, and you can't even see either end in the picture.
It is scary because they're eating all the small animals in the Everglades.
Yeah.
That's why they're a problem, because you have the whole, you have the whole nature thing. Every animal has its place. And the problem is all these animals, now even deer. Oh my God.
Yeah. They're eating. This thing was so big. It's the second largest one ever found in the Big Cypress National Preserve.
You know how much I like snakes.
Well, apparently this guy's every morning, I walk out to my deer stand out there and he's like, this could have been right next to me the whole time. Apparently, they have now found them making their way up to Palm Beach. They're heading up the East Coast to Palm Beach because they've run out of food. And they just keep going.
Because they can't find it. Now the next it'll be everybody's dogs and cats.
Yeah. And he was like, this one would take in a small child without a problem. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
You have one more? Next. I hope it's less creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad we did that one first.
Well, this one will make you feel so much better about life, Glenn.
Okay.
So in California, what is the most popular car in California right now?
Tesla.
The Tesla.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's autopilot, right? And apparently you can just turn on autopilot in your Tesla and it will drive you where you need to drive.
I had a couple of Ubers on recent trips that they had Teslas, and I said, can you put an autopilot, please, when we're on the highway? Because I wanted to see it. And sure enough, drives the car, gets off the exit, stops at the red light.
You're lucky to be alive. And I'll tell you why. A Tesla driver in California learned the hard way not to put too much faith in the company's autopilot system after the tech drove him. It's just driving down the road, and it made a left on the railroad tracks. It turned left instead of the road. It turned left on the railroad tracks and just kept driving down the railroad tracks. Can you imagine what would have happened if a train was coming?
It just it was off by a couple of yards and put him on the railroad track.
17 deaths, 736 crashes due to the autopilot. Again, you're lucky to be alive. Y'all pay attention. Pay attention.
Not to mention the ones that are spontaneously bursting into flames. There's those too.
That and air fryers. That's a big problem. But the Woodland Police Department is warning Tesla drivers to, quote, stay vigilant while using Tesla's autopilot feature. Yeah, no napping during the drive. I don't think I'd ever relax. It seems to. Haven't you seen that Will Smith movie with the robots who then like turn bad?
I do
and
want
iRobot,
it, though. I want them all to be that way so I can sleep on my road trip. I think that'd be perfect.
Okay, well, you go right ahead. Get yourself a Tesla, baby. I will not ride it.
Do you know what I saw in Wild at the Lowe's the other day for the first time? Is the Tesla's pickup truck.
Yeah, we have one that drives around here.
And it was bright orange. I mean, fluorescent orange. It was as orange gets. You couldn't miss that thing coming.
Same color as the Back to the Future DeLorean. That's what they remind me of.
Yeah, this one was orange. They must have had it wrapped because otherwise, I don't think they only come in that silver color, right? So
yeah,
this one was orange. I mean, orange. But they are weird ass looking. They are weird looking trucks.
They look like spaceships.
Yeah, it doesn't look comfortable either.
Thanks to Michelle, Julie, Carrie, Jade, Aaron, Laureen, Jillian, Kaylin, and Debbie all for sending me weird news stories. And where do they send it for next week? To Jamie at horseradionetwork.com, JAMIE at horseradionetwork.com with weird news in the subject line.
Very good. Well, we're going to be calling it a day here. Auditors, hang on. We'll chat about something in the post show.
I'm going to tell you, I posted a video yesterday of us riding, and the 9 million comments that I got were all of one thing.
Okay, we'll talk about that in the post show. Thanks for listening today. Tomorrow, we have the Mary Kitzmiller episode with Jennifer and Mary talking about training, and then Lisa and I will be here on Friday.
All right, everybody, have a great day. Stay neuter and geld.